Comey. It was just over a week ago when the president had publicly urged the Justice Department to prosecute James Comey and his other political opponents. Joining me now is the White House correspondent for the New York Times, Maggie Haberman, who is also the author of Confidence Man, The Making of Donald Trump and the Breaking of America. And Maggie, I just wonder what you make of Lindsay Halligan walking into the West Wing. She worked there until a few days ago, so it's not that surprising. She knows her way around there quite well. But having someone in such a sensitive position who is in charge of such a sensitive prosecution, obviously typically would be, off limits.
Right. Caitlin, number one, there is the prosecution that she was put in that role clearly to make happen, which was the James Comey prosecution that we saw the indictment come down just last week. The role she is in oversees an office where James Comey is not the only investigation that President Trump has been interested in. There has been one into Letitia James, the New York Attorney General, who brought a successful civil fraud trial suit against President Trump and his business, and we know that she has been a target of his for retribution. We also know that that case was not believed by career prosecutors in that office to be viable at trial, and so it is notable that she is coming in not just as this Comey case is continuing, and there are questions about how that will go forward, but also what will happen with this other item on Trump's personal agenda where he would like to see one of his perceived political enemies prosecuted.
Yeah, just to be that close, as the White House has tried to put, any kind of distance between them would belie belief. Yes. But as this comes, obviously the White House has been dealing with the government shutdown. It's very quiet here on Capitol Hill tonight, I'll say, because basically no negotiations are happening in any real way that we've heard of. I wonder what you make of how the White House is feeling about whether or not this is working out, in their favor at all.
The White House has been projecting great optimism and more than optimism, confidence, Caitlin, that this is going to wrap up in the next couple of days. They believe, I don't know what their evidence for this is, but they believe that they are seeing some signs that the Democrats will come toward them. I have certainly seen no signs of that in my own discussions and reporting, but we will see where this is in a few days. I will say that even some Republicans were quietly frustrated by President Trump's social media post highlighting Russ Vogt's connection to Project 2025, even though the notion that the president had no idea what Project 2025 was during the campaign was absurd, or that he didn't know the people who were involved with it was absurd. It was not actually his campaign's platform. There was overlap between his campaign's advisors, or some of their advisors, and the people who worked on Project 2025. It was also an unpopular agenda item in a lot of polling, just objectively unpopular, and that was part of the reason why you saw the Trump campaign trying to distance him from it. Now he's just openly talking about it, and it is just providing fresh fodder for Democrats who the White House had been trying to blame for the fact that the shutdown exists in the first place. This complicates that, and it's not the first time, Caitlin, as you know, that we have seen President Trump make life harder for his own aides during a shutdown.
Yeah, and he was calling it, saying they were going to evaluate Democrat agencies. I mean, every single federal agency is run by someone the president handpicked to be in that role. I mean, we just pointed that out to his energy secretary. Maggie, the president knows
there's no agencies in the executive branch. They're Democrat agencies, but go ahead. Sorry.
Right. And also they have, it's not even just the leadership. They have gone through to make sure people who work at the State Department are loyal to them and all these other agencies. Maggie, you know as well as I do that if the president wants to find a camera, he can certainly get in front of one. He knows how to put a message out there. What do you make of the fact that he has not been in front of the cameras? He's only done one interview since this government shutdown began.
I think that he is listening to his advisors who are trying to keep him from being the face of it. Again, going back to the last time that there was a government shutdown, he was president, and this was in 2019, and he was on camera saying, something to the effect of "let there be a shutdown." So he is practicing his own personal, messaging a little better, I would say, up until that Truth Social post, which was not that.
Yeah, he said he would own the shutdown in 2019, that he was proud to own it because he believed it was worth that fight for the border wall money.
That's right. And look,